Malaysian Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Hishammuddin Hussein said his country had stopped paying cession money to the heirs of the Sultanate of Sulu. Hishammuddin said Malaysia also did not recognize and entertain any claim by any party over Sabah, which has been recognized as part of Malaysia by the United Nations. Quote-unquote, Malaysia and the Philippines have an understanding that the claim over Sabah will not be raised at any regional or international platform, Hishammuddin said. Malaysia stopped paying annual cession money of 5,300 Malaysian ringgit through lawyers representing the 9 heirs of the Sulu Sultanate since 2013. He said the payments were made based on a treaty signed on January 22, 1878 between then Sultan of Sulu Sultan Jamal Al Alam and Baron de Overbeck and Alfred Dent of the British North Borneo Company. Quote-unquote, apart from the payments to the heirs of the Sulu Sultanate, Malaysia has never made any payment to the Philippine government, Hishammuddin said in a written reply to Shang Fun Hin, uploaded on the Parliament website according to a report by Bernama. It said Chang wanted to know if the Malaysian government planned to stop paying the cession money to the Sulu Sultanate through the Philippine government as a measure to end foreign interference in Malaysia's sovereignty. In February 2013, Sulu Sultan Jamal Al Alam III sent 200 armed followers led by his younger brother Raja Muda Azimuddin Kiram, 74 years old, to Sabah in an effort to exert his claim over the territory. Malaysia branded the action as an invasion and launched a deadly air and land assault against the invaders. Armed with automatic rifles and machetes, Kuala Lumpur also put Sultan Jamal and his brother on its wanted list and branded them as terrorists. The Aquino government tried to resolve the problem peacefully with Malaysia and persuaded Kiram's group to return home following weeks of standoff with Kuala Lumpur, but it failed. Sultan Muhammad Fauad Abdullah Kiram I and Sultan Ismail Kiram were also involved in the negotiations with the Philippine government. The Sultanate of Sulu continues to lay claim to Sabah. It obtained Sabah from Brunei as a gift for helping put down a rebellion on Borneo Island. The British leased Sabah and transferred control over the territory to Malaysia after the end of World War II.
The Sultanate of Sulu ay isang historical, social, and cultural legacies. Kasi ho, in 1405, the Sultanate of Sulu, known earlier as the East Kingdom of Sulu, already entered a treaty with the Ming Dynasty of China that paved the way for the visit of the 3 East Kingdom sultans to Beijing in 1417. The recognition of each sovereign person was expressed in the 1915 Kiram-Carpenter Agreement, signed by the United States government and the government of Sultan of Sulu, whereupon in the introductory statement sinabi ko, prior to an American occupation and rule of the Sultanate of Sulu, it has been for more than 400 years an independent sovereignty. How the Sultanate of Sulu acquired Sabah, earlier known as North Borneo, and how Sabah was incorporated into the Federation of Malaysia in 1960. According to their late father, Sultan Punjungan Kiram, this is the greatest land grab in modern history. Ano ang ginawa ng Malaysia? Did Malaysia agree that the resolution of the Sabah issue be resolved peacefully? No. Hanggang ngayon, ganito ang ginagawa nila, kaya nga may estado. Because in 1968, the Philippine panel challenged Malaysia na dalhin na natin itong issue sa International Court of Justice in order to resolve the issue once and for all. Ngunit ano ang ginawa ng Malaysia? They refused kasi alam nila that their evidence in the evidence to support their claim of title of sovereignty over North Borneo cannot stand scrutiny in a proper tribunal. Kung ang pag-uusapan is about peace, ang Sultanate of Sulu ay dumaan ng 300 years war against Spain, 13 years war against the United States of America, 4 years during Second World War. Mindanao conflict from 1972 up to present. Kami ho ay pagod na sa pakikipaglaban. We want peace to reign in our region so that we can fully develop the natural world in the archipelago of Sulu for the benefit of the Filipino people. Just like this Sabah, because ang kanilang tatay nagsaba, Sabah is not for sale. Remember my children before his last break. Sabah is not for sale. Sabah is the patrimony of the Filipino people.
The Sulu Sultanate said it had merely leased North Borneo in 1878 to the British North Borneo Company for an annual payment of $5,000 Malayan, which was increased to $5,300 Malayan in 1903. The Sultanate of Sulu was founded in 1457 and is believed to exist as a sovereign nation for at least 442 years. It stretches from a part of the island of Mindanao in the east to Sabah in the west and south, and to Palawan in the north. North Borneo was annexed by Malaysia in 1963, following a referendum organized by the Cobalt Commission in 1962. The people of Sabah voted overwhelmingly to join Malaysia. In 2016, Malaysia vowed to defend the sovereignty of Sabah following remarks made by President Rodrigo Duterte that the oil-rich state, home to about 500,000 Filipinos, belongs to the Sultanate of Sulu. The Malaysia Digest reported that Duterte was quoted by Philippine media that he would never abandon the Sulu Sultanate's quest to stake its claim on Sabah. Quote-unquote, "We are allowing proprietary heirs to talk with Malaysia. Since it is part of our claim, it will be there as our land." Duterte was quoted as saying, "What has been the policy will always be the policy of the government, especially those for the interest of the country. We have to stake our claim." But then Malaysian Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak vowed to defend every inch of Sabah's sovereignty. Malaysian media quoted Najib as saying that no one could stake a claim on Sabah that had gained its independence through Malaysia with the agreement of the United Nations in 1963. Even after North Borneo became part of Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur still paid an annual rent of at least 5,300 Malaysian ringgit to the heirs of the recognized Sultan of Sulu, Ismail Kiram. In 2019, then Duterte's spokesman Salvador Panelo said the Philippines had not abandoned its claim on Sabah after Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad's statement that, quote-unquote, "there was no claim to the disputed territory."
Bago nito ay nagabang naman ang mga mag-aaral ng Fernando Guerrero Elementary School sa labas ng palasyo, bit-bit ang watawat ng dalawang bansa bilang pagpapakita ng mainit na pagtanggap kay Mahathir. Sa bilateral meeting na Pangulong Duterte at Prime Minister Mahathir, kapwa tiniyak ng dalawang lider na mananatiling matatag ang trade partner at diplomatic ties ng dalawang bansa na nagsimula pa noong 1959. Nananatili ang claims ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas sa Sabah. Ito ang binigyang diin ni Presidential Spokesman Sal Panelo sa kabila ng dalawang araw na official visit sa bansa ni Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir bin Mohamad. Ayon kay Panelo, hindi nawawala ang paninindigan ng bansa na pag-aari ng Pilipinas ang Sabah na ngayon ay bahagi na ng Malaysia. Sa isang panayam kay Mahathir, sinabi nito na wala siyang alam na may inahayang claim ang Pilipinas na nag-aangkin sa Sabah. Gayunpaman, sinabi ni Panelo na tatalakayin sa pag-uusap ng Pangulong Duterte at ni Mahathir ang nasabing issue. Matatandaan na matagal nang ipinaglalaban ng Sultanate of Sulu ang kanilang pag-aari sa Sabah alinsunod na rin sa 1878 Land Lease Agreement sa pagitan ng Sultanate of Sulu at British North Borneo Chartered Corporation.